Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Castpotro, your go-to podcast for insightful discussions on a wide range of fascinating topics. As we dive into our second season focused on career development, we are excited to introduce today's topic, and it is professional networking. In our previous episode, we talked about public speaking tips and how to give effective presentations to wide audiences. After we have captivated our audience and made a significant impact, the next step is to build meaningful connections from the people among them, and that will be our goal today. We will be exploring what is networking, how to elevate it into a professional level, and how to leverage it as a powerful tool for career development. So, I'm your host, Zeynep Karakashli, and next to me, I'm joined with my co-host, Ashrafi. It is really nice to have you here with me, Ash. So, are you excited as much as me for this episode?
Hi, Zainab. I am thrilled to be here and welcome, dear listeners. I am Ashrafi, your co host for today's episode, as we venture into the world of building connections for your career.
Exactly. And as we delve into the topic of professional networking, I also want to know your opinion because before we will invite our guests to join us, let me hear from you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Zainab. So, from what I have observed in today's world, connection is everything. The more you can pin down the people in your target domain, the better you are equipped with opportunities. And this is what our podcast aims to do, to foster this interconnectedness. And the most important thing here is trust, because trust is the number one glue that sticks us together. Because when you think about it, who would you hire? A guy, random guy who shows up with his CV and walks into the office, or a trusted person with the right skills? And so we'll be talking about more about this in the upcoming segments, how to hack into the system and level up your social circle.
Yes, Ash, I totally agree with your points because in this case, you can't be shy when it means an opportunity for your success. Like, we need to focus on growing for the better, and we can do it while doing networking.
Yeah, exactly. And the hard truth is, like, you can be shy or introverted, but you still have to go out there and meet new people and learn new lessons, because you can't stay in one place, because otherwise your career will just stay stagnant. It won't move, it won't grow. So, with that being said, let's welcome our guests. We have an aspiring software engineer and a web developer who will be sharing their experiences with us. So, Shanto, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Ibrahim Shanto. I'm from Bangladesh, and I am a web developer and CEO of Castpotro. So today, I'm here to share about the most important thing uh, that we need in day-to-day life, which is connecting with people in our career. And I have Tasmin with me. Hello, Tasmin. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Anwar Tashfin. I'm from Bangladesh, and well, we're going to talk about networking today. So, yeah, I hope we can provide a fresh perspective, and I'm really happy to be here.
Yes, welcome to Castpotro, Shanta and Tashwin. So let's make this episode incredible together with the best content possible.
All right, let's get into it then. And to begin with, let's start by defining what professional networking is. So I want to ask Tashvin, can you explain what professional networking means to you?
Well, professional networking for me is about building and maintaining relationships, and yeah, specifically in your industry. It's not just about making connections for career advancements, but also about sharing knowledge, helping others, and finding support. Even as an introvert, I find it valuable to connect with like minded people, exchange ideas, and stay updated on industry trends. It's a two-way street where you both give and receive value.
It is so agreeable that the way of thinking is two-way street, as we know that both sides are exchanging values. As like networking should never be one-sided anyways. And I do think this is the one thing that which people get mistaken most of the time. There are so many misconceptions about networking. So, Tashwin, what do you think that are some common misconceptions? What do people get wrong?
Well, from what I think, most people think that you have to be the loudest in the room to get noticed, but that's not actually the case. One common misconception is that networking is only about self promotion and using people to get ahead, which is definitely not true. And many people assume that you have to be extroverted and constantly attend events to be successful at networking. And well, another misconception is that networking is only useful when you're actively looking for a job. In reality, networking is more about building genuine relationships and creating a support system. It's also about long term growth where you share insights, help others, and stay connected over time. Even small interactions like online communities or one on one coffee chats can be very effective. I believe so. Yeah, that's all.
That's true, very true actually. And the fact that nowadays everyone thinks that you have to be a certain way and you can't network if you're shy or introverted is not true at all, because this is like the fourth industrial revolution. We have so many technologies and platforms, so many resources at our hand that there is just no excuse or there is no limitations. All it takes is time and practice, and everyone can learn it. And it's just not about superficial and materialistic connections. So thank you for sharing that, Tashvin. Now I wanna head over to another direction. I heard Shanto has an amazing story about how he came to learn about networking. So Shanto, please share how your network has evolved over the course of your career.
That's a great question though. Okay, once upon a time, I was really good at programming. Then, with that flow of my university, I started to create websites. I was really good at these fields since I am a web developer myself. I created websites and added some uniqueness in it, but once I finished my project, I needed to take surveys for its improvement. Dang, I was stuck in the place now. Now what can I do? I searched so many things about networking on Google, YouTube, Quora, and everywhere. I learned things, but I felt like something was missing. Actually, I felt empty inside of me. After thinking a while alone, I say to myself, why not make a community with the knowledge I gained from the internet and connect people through the networking concept? But the community will not run with only networking concepts. So I added a podcast concept in it. With a podcast, people can gather knowledge from other people's experience, learn from mistakes, and so on. That's how I created a big community. Talked with people, knew more about their culture, and gradually I'm good at networking. Now, bingo! Now I can feel people, I can see their perspectives and adjust myself in a vast community. Later than it helped me to organize my projects, making new connections with professionals and all. This story of my life emphasizes the importance of networking throughout my career.
So, Shanto, yes, I love how everything gets connected back into the place and we find ourselves in this podcast once more. I guess we can say you use your networking strategy well, so we're all here in this ride doing this podcast. So, now let's talk about strategies for effective networking. We all know today's world, online networking is as important as networking in real life events. There's a huge possibility that you can meet valuable people online as well. So with this approach, we need to manage it and make it effective. So what about you, Tashvin? Do you use online platforms to network?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So tell us how you effectively network online.
So, for me, online networking is a big part because I met most of my friends through playing video games online, and Yeah, like I also remember like meeting one of my faculties through playing video games, and we still play together to this day. And well, when I had his classes, he would always would talk about video games. But if I had any problems related to work, I could always go to him, and well, he'd help me. Like he'd give me special attention, and that is what the magic of networking is all about. So I believe like well, online platforms can be a great way to network. And besides for well, playing video games, there are also social media sites like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. LinkedIn has communities, Facebook has groups, and Instagram has channels where everyone can join and share their own interests.
Yeah, that is so true because and that's such a unique way. I would like to say that you met like one of your faculties through video games because when you meet someone's games or through a club, you already have a head start because you know that you have a shared interest, a common interest, and you can build up your relationship from that step. So it obviously helps. And social media is obviously present there, Facebook groups and LinkedIn communities if you want to find like more targeted people. So thank you for like sharing that unique story. And now, Shanto, you also use social media, right? So can you share some examples of how you connect with people there?
Yeah, sure, why not? I use social media like LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and Discord to stay connected and grow as a web developer. On LinkedIn, I share my latest projects, follow industry trends, and connect with other professionals in the tech world. It's a great platform for building professional network and discovering new opportunities. WhatsApp is my go-to for quick personal conversation with colleagues and friends. It's perfect for coordinating on the go and keeping our communication smooth and instant. And on Discord, on the other hand, is where I join various web development communities. I participate in discussions, exchange ideas, and get feedback on my work. It is an excellent space for learning and collaboration. These platforms are invaluable for technologies in web development. So they make it easy to build and maintain meaningful connections, both personally and professionally, enhancing my growth and success in that field.
So every social media platform can be used as a networking tool, but they have some variations changing in the ways of usage in detail. But at the end, all of them would get connected back to the networking, right? There's another question in our minds. In our last episode, we were talking about public speaking, making impressions on people. Maybe it's not a presentation, but you're still presenting yourself to someone while networking. So let's hear from Tashwin now. How can someone make a lasting impression when meeting a professional contact? Because people meet lots of new people, and how do you make them remember you?
Well, I realized that with time you can adjust to, well, you can learn people, you can see what kind of people they are, and then you can adjust yourself to be that certain way. But the first impression, for that matter, should always be, well, for me personally, it should be warm and friendly, something that's welcoming, safe place. So, try to present yourself uniquely. But yeah, most of the time, like being funny and finding a common interest is a big part of it, so that you can share it in future time. Like when you talk about, well, whenever you go back in time and think about the time that you met that person, and if you guys had something in common, you can talk about it, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so let's say we did and followed every step that was provided for a newbie in networking. And after time passed, now we have a pool of professional people around us. At this step, how can we balance the quantity and quality of our professional connections?
That is a very interesting question. So, balancing the quantity and quality of professional connections is quite vital for effective networking. For prioritizing building a smaller network of high quality connections over collecting, well, loads of contacts as possible is not really feasible, and most of the time you won't even be able to connect with them or talk to them in general. You can, well, set specific networking goals to connect with new people while also deepening the existing relationships. You can focus on nurturing relationships over time rather than just making initial connections. Sometimes check up on people and, well, have organic relationships. Don't just knock people up for work because, well, it'll make them feel like they don't really mean anything to you. And, well, always try to prioritize individuals who share similar interests or goals and, well, have a genuine interest and share good memories. Yeah.
Thank you, Tashvin. And it takes me to my next question. Let's continue with you, Shanto. Let's hear some tips for our listeners. So, what are some practical tips for networking at conferences or industry events? What do you think?
Okay, I'm thinking like networking at conferences and industry events can be highly beneficial. Well, let me share some tips with you guys. First of all, prepare ahead. Research the events, speakers, and attendees. Have a clear goal for what you want to achieve. And then make an elevator speech. Develop a brief introduction about yourself and your work. Practice it until it feels natural. Always bring business cards. Have business cards ready to hand out. It's an easy way to share your contact information. Most important thing, be approachable. Smile, make your eye contact, and be open to conversations. Don't forget to ask questions, like show genuine interest in others by asking about their work and experiences. Next step is join discussions. Participate in panels, Q&A sessions, and informal discussions. It's a great way to meet people and share ideas. And then follow up after the event. Follow up with the people you met. Connect on LinkedIn or send a thank you email. One more important tip: what professional people often do this: leverage social media. Use event hashtags or on Twitter or LinkedIn to join the online conversations and connect with other attendees. And attend social media events. Don't skip the social media events or mixers. These are often best opportunities to network in relaxed settings. And last but not the least, be yourself. Authentically goes a long way. Be genuine and sincere in your interactions. Follow up these 10 tips. I do guarantee that your life will be more productive and change in many ways.
Wow, those were some highly specific points, and I'm sure, Shanto, that it will come in handy for anyone who is willing to go to any kind of event. Because sometimes I attend a convention or a seminar, and I get to like nervous, even though I'm normally an extroverted person. So that brings me back to the question: what is your advice regarding this? How do you overcome challenges? So let's talk about overcoming challenges in like networking, because let's face it, it's not easy for beginners to just go to someone and talk. So how do we deal with this?
Well, for me personally, I would say some people are going to say no. Some people are going to reject you. Some people, they might not even want to talk to you. And that's all right. You need to still keep going at it. You can't get disheartened. I can actually share a pretty interesting story. We all know Google, but before Google was this big, they wanted to sell to, well, Yahoo. Well, they went to Yahoo and then they wanted like 2 to 3 billion, I think, for Google, and Yahoo just said no, we don't want that. They said, well, Yahoo was the biggest thing back then, and yeah, they thought that they would remain the biggest thing. But well, Google had they Yahoo had another opportunity to buy out Google, but they also didn't want to do that. Anyways, at one point you can see where Yahoo is right now and where Google is, and yeah, so that is one of the things that I want to focus on. That you need to keep trying, and no matter how many no's that you get, you shouldn't be backing yourself off. You should keep going at maybe try with a different person. Always try to improve yourself. Be respectful of people when they say no. Be sure to respect that. Yeah, sometimes a no just means no, but your opportunities can land in some other person.
Yes, thank you, Tashin. And I really like this story that you shared with us. Also, like, there's just not one door ahead of us. There can be multiple doors, as I would love to think that life is not just one road ahead. It can just cherish into more directions, and you can choose between them as you want to, if you want to just chase the opportunities. So thank you for sharing the insight with us. Let's continue our next question with Shanto. Shanto, if you have a significant memory or experience, can you share a moment when networking significantly impacted your career?
Yeah, I'm on it. A key moment when networking changed my career was when I co-founded Castpotro with a team from different countries. Working with such a diverse group was tough at the first place because everyone had their own way of doing things. I had to learn to manage these differences and make sure everyone worked well together. By keeping clear communication and building a strong sense of teamwork, I managed to lead our group successfully. And this experience taught me how to handle and motivate over 100 people at once. Networking with my team members not only helped us launch Castpotro, but also improved my skills and leading big multicultural teams, greatly boosting my career.
Yeah, I do have to acknowledge that with Castpotro, that diversity, the networking that happens there, totally blew my mind. But when we first started out, it was just like few people, and then as they grew, more people came from so many different countries that we had never even met someone from there, and now everyone just comes here and shares their culture, and it's amazing how people can connect from the other side of the world. So, our dear listeners, we talked about various tips, what to do, what not to do. Our guests shared stories and their experiences. So let's listen to some tips that sometimes we might not notice, or we might not just do it right away. So Tashvin, I want to ask you, what do you think are some advice that people should keep in mind?
I say informal gatherings, and you shouldn't underestimate the power of casual gatherings like meetups, coffee chats, or afterward social events. It deepens your connection, and that way you might create a meaningful bond, and through that you can move ahead, and talk about anything that you want to. Maybe you can ask them for favors in the future. Maybe they're in a bad place and you can help them out. You can create alumni networks where you can ask for advice from people who have already gone through the stuff that you are going through. You can do volunteer work. Volunteering is one of the biggest ways to find like-minded people, and also find people who are at the right place, and learn to communicate with them. Maybe even communicate with the people, communicate and learn more about the thing that you're volunteering for. You can also join local business events, attend local business networking events, and chamber of commerce meetings, or entrepreneur. I apologize because entrepreneur meetups to connect with professionals in your community. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Tashwin. And I like that we are talking about local business events and alumni networks, but we are also talking about informal gatherings and volunteer work too. So, if we think about just informal gatherings like coffee chats or just social events, that means like just friendly environment. Like you can just have some friends there, and that's also includes in networking. Maybe when we think that, okay, this is a professional gathering, so I need to be professional. I will meet with high value people. It may be stressful, but if you think that, okay, I will have some good time here, I will just connect with people and maybe have some friends, because it is what we are trying to do while networking, just giving a positive impact to the other side. So, if we think about that, maybe we will be more comfortable in gatherings and social events. So, thank you for sharing your insights. Let's go back to our CEO of Castpotro, Shanto. What
Yes.
is the most valuable lesson that you have learned in your networking journey? I want to ask you.
Yeah. So the most valuable lessons I have learned from networking is build real relationship, not just make connections. Be yourself and show genuine interest in others. Listen to them and offer uh, help without expecting anything back. Networking is about both giving and receiving. This approach has opened doors to new projects, job opportunities, and great mentors. I have found that respect and trust are the keys to a strong professional network.
Yes, thank you. And as our listeners can also see that everything we are talking in podcast, we are just turning around and sharing the same insight again, as just be yourself, and just there are lots of doors that can be opened to you with the least expected moment. So yes, we are talking about the things over and over again, and I'm sure that our listeners are learning a lot from this talk. So yes, I'm turning back to Tashvin. Uh, yes, and I'm asking you, what advice would you give to someone who is new to networking?
I would say just to be confident, don't overthink it, and well, do not think about it existentially. If you were on the other side, you might have been feeling the same way, anxious or jittery. No matter how experienced you are, everyone is, well, human. So try to think of everyone equally as human.
Yes, that's a really good tip for an advice. Thank you, Tashvin. And before we wrap up, I would like to thank our guests for coming here today. I'm sure our listeners get a lot of useful information to help them improve their networking skills.
Yeah,
Tashvin and
thank you
Shanto.
for, yeah, thank you. Thank you to all the listeners for listening to us, and thank you for, well, having us here.
Yeah, thank you to those who have been listening for so long. Castpotro actually do the networking thing, connects people from different countries all together in one place, learning so many things, having fun, movie night, gaming, and so many things. And I hope you found something that will help you grow in your future.
Absolutely. And thank you, guests, for joining us. Your insights, your experiences, the interesting stories were like really good. I really enjoyed them, and I'm sure like our listeners did too. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Castpotro. We hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. And if you have any questions or topics you would like us to cover in future episodes, please reach out to us on social media or to our server.
Yes, and we would love to hear more from you. So stay tuned for more exciting episodes this season, and don't forget to just listen our your favorite podcast platform, Castpotro. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep speaking with confidence. Goodbye, everyone.